We've already discussed the importance of getting the perspectives of the different types of people within a community. But how do you do that? We're now going to take a look at a case study of a particular community project. Remember the project to make Jeanne d'Arc Street in Beirut more inclusive. The issue was clear enough that many people do not have good access to the streets.
Neither the visually impaired, nor the people on wheelchairs, nor the mothers with strollers, nor the elderly, they all have problems with walkability. There's not one single sidewalk in Beirut where you can actually cross safely.
But to turn this kind of street into one where disabled and elderly people could walk safely needed some drastic proposals.
So we combined all these and we came out with this proposal to actually delete a parking lane on the right side of the road and improve the sidewalk by making it wider, by having a safe passage that takes you all the way from Bliss Street to Hamra, a passage that's 1.50 meters that will not be interrupted whatsoever all along that stretch. And this is something that's unprecedented in Beirut, and it wasn't easy.
But this is just one side of the story. We know one group of stakeholders very clearly, but at the beginning of a project, you have to find out more about the issue.
First, identify the problems that you want to solve, identify the stakeholders that these problems mean something to, talk to the stakeholders and put yourself in their place. Give them the scenario that would show them a positive aspect to what you're doing. Have it backed up by research, backed up by data, backed up by surveys. And then you combine them together, and then you have to find somebody to implement. So you have to identify the implementing side. For us, it was the municipality of Beirut, the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Tourism. We had to approach all the political parties to actually get support. We told them, take it, we're giving you something to be proud of. Until today, improving a street in Beirut means removing the tiles from a sidewalk and putting newer tiles. So nothing really changes on the level of the lifestyle. We showed them that you can do exactly the same budget, but if you do the correct study, you change the quality of life of the people.
To succeed with a community project, it's essential to identify the key stakeholders, the shopkeepers, to preempt any problems.
The first problem was the stakeholders themselves weren't convinced that this is for their best, to their advantage. They wouldn't understand that deleting the parking from next to their shop would actually end up giving them more business, because to them, I don't have a parking space anymore.
There's a strong car culture in Beirut, which takes precedence over everything.
It was the biggest challenge to convince the stakeholders that let us give you this example. Please give it a chance. It is the future. This is where we're going.
How did they work with the stakeholders, the shopkeepers on the street?
It took a lot of time. We had to go case by case, shop by shop, really shop by shop. There are 71 shops in Jeanne d'Arc. We went to them one by one. We made almost a personal, scenario for each and every one of them, depending on what their resistance was. So it's not easy, and you would think many times that you should give up and it will not work.
So this is an important aspect of working with stakeholders in the community, to really work with them, to build their trust.
You have to be persistent, you have to be patient, you have to put yourself in the place of the stakeholder and see exactly his viewpoint to be able to convince him with your viewpoint. You can't see it from your side, your perspective at all. Your perspective is not important at all. Your perspective is for your study. But with the stakeholders, you look at what they want and try to give them what they want. So when they feel that it will be positive, then you start to hit a positive note.
And did she succeed?
Out of the 71, we have only 5 that are still resisting, so this is a huge success. After almost 1 year on the implementation, we have most of the people feeling how this street has changed their lives. Just hearing one lady who walks her husband on the wheelchair every day saying, "This changed my life, thank you," was enough for us to say this is a successful project.
المشروع اللي عملوه كتير منيح. عرضوا الرصيف للمشاة كتير منيح. البنية التحتية زبطت. بس الديزادفانتجز اللي صار محلات صف السيارات صاروا كتير قليل. هلا الحي احسن كتير منيح من قبل. يمكن ما بعرف بالمستقبل اذا هذا بده يساعد انه يرجع يتخربط كل شيء الشارع وكذا، بس عامة it's okay.
It's all indications that this street has improved the lives of the stakeholders. The businesses, many of them now have their lunch on the benches outside their shops. They sit next to each other, people who never talk to each other, because we're not, the war has still, it's 27 years after the end of the war, we still feel it. People from different factions, from different educational backgrounds still feel the differences. This becomes a pilot project for the municipality to take and apply at many other places in Beirut.